To inspire, to uplift, different people share their gifts. A safe space and open door on a journey to explore human beings.
After years of dedicated efforts in mental health, it is time to spark a meaningful discussion. On Saturday, February 1st, 2025, join me and several special guests for the Are You OK Summit. This year's summit features Michelle Primos, Gary Jones, Leanne Douglas Troutman, Anitra Green, Tamara Hudson, and Emmanuel Magruder. Registration is officially open. Seize the opportunity to partake in this transformative experience. With limited space available, be sure to register today. Happy Monday.
Hey, everybody.
I've been waiting to say this. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. All of those great.
Happy holidays. Listen, the Christmas music is calling me. It was calling me all weekend. Happy holidays.
I know. Listen, I have been waiting to say Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays since November 1st. I have been so excited.
That is hilarious. He said, I don't care about Thanksgiving. I just want to say Merry Christmas.
I'm telling you.
Done.
Like my nephew was like, Uncle, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. Like, why are we rushing it? I told him, I said, as soon as you throw your plate away on Thanksgiving, when you throw it in the trash, it is Christmas.
Yes, like, after you put a plate away.
I'm like, it is Christmas in this household. I don't care what you say, what you feel, it is Christmas. So I'm telling you, I am so excited to be here tonight for our show tonight. Season 2, episode 3, The Power of Parenting. Listen, I'm going to share, I became an instant parent like a year ago.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to share that experience, talk about that a little bit tonight. But it's something so amazing to watch how there's such a community of people that come together to, help raise these kids. I did not know the true meaning of it takes a village until my niece and nephew came. Like, I got it because with my sister, I've always been there to support her and things like that.
Different.
But it's a difference when the roles are reversed and like it's really taking a village. So I'm really I'm excited about this topic tonight of the power of parenting. Thank you so much to everybody that's joining us. My name is Dwayne Wiggins Jr. I am one of your hosts for A Human Being, along with my co-host Ana Henderson, who is here with me tonight. Ana, I just want to say, how was your Thanksgiving? How was your?
Yes.
I want to preface that when you said that you were thinking about like tradition in our last episode, we did my Thanksgiving special, and we were talking about like different traditions and things like that. So I really want to talk to you about some of traditions that you probably were able to instill in your family on this Thanksgiving. Wow. I saw the amazing food that you cooked. So how was your Thanksgiving, your weekend, and all of those great things?
Oh, goodness. It turned out so well. I could not be more happier. So I hosted Thanksgiving at my house this year for my family specifically, but I have a set group of friends. So all of them were invited, of course, to come over with their family or their kids if they wanted. And they did. So it just worked out well. Like, I prepped Wednesday night, threw mostly everything in the oven Thursday morning. Everything was done by basically 3:30. Like, I was proud of myself. Like, yeah. But the kids went to go see Hakeem's mom and spend a little time with them. So while my friends started arriving, like, I was still hosting, and they went to go see grandma. It was perfect because by the time they came back, we were in here playing games, karaoke. We were eating pie. Like, listen, the karaoke is my favorite part, okay? Because I am a singer. I am a singer at heart. I don't know if the notes be right all the time, but I'm a singer, and I will live it down, okay?
Yes, you are.
But we didn't get the tree on Thanksgiving like I planned, but we got it Friday. So Friday, it was up and it was stuck. I got the decorations. I mean, the girls were arguing, trying to help. Let me do it. No, let me do it. It was wonderful. So Thanksgiving into this weekend, It couldn't have been better. And everybody enjoyed the food. And then we saw Moana
I
2.
love it.
Oh my God. Listen, I need y'all to come closer. Come a little closer, just a little bit. If you have not seen Moana, watch it first. Watch number 1. And then please go see number 2. It was the best, hands down. I am a diehard Disney fan for mostly all the movies, but the characters in Moana, like they just touch a special place in my heart. And to have all the old characters come back, some new ones, it was beautiful. Please go see the movie. Please go. It is a musical too, so keep that in mind. Catch up, watch 1, then go see 2. You will not be mad at me, and then come back and tell me how it was. Okay.
I love that. No, I love that because a lot of times I feel like nowadays it's like a movie with music and it's a musical. You got to kind of like preface that because people go to the movies not thinking. I'm like, if you hear the word Disney, more than likely there's going to be some singing.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. I don't want to hear no, oh my God, it's one of those. It is, and I will be singing. So
right. that's how I felt about Wicked. I'm like, you do know it was on Broadway, therefore there's going to be some music. Like, you know, so wow, that sounds like so much fun. How did the kids enjoy the movie?
They enjoyed it. They actually stayed awake. Sometimes my kids will get bored or they'll just really fall asleep, I guess, just being in that comfortable dark setting, even though it's loud. I don't know, whatever. Mm-hmm. But they enjoyed it. I cried for about 20 minutes. Like, collectively in different scenes. I mean, I am one of them. Like, I'm telling you, hurry up! Hurry up! I'm sorry. Hurry up. It was so good. But they enjoyed it. Because they were still talking about it. Like, Hakeem was trying to see if they had the movie on Disney Plus when we got in the house.
Right.
Absolutely not. It is not there yet.
It just came out.
Yes, give it some time.
I love that. That sounds so great.
But yes, that was my weekend. How about you? How was your Thanksgiving? What of the traditions, if any? Talk to me.
You know, my Thanksgiving was fantastic. You know, one of the things that we were on Thanksgiving break, you know, I work at a school. And we were on break, and it was just the perfect time to recharge and regroup. And, you know, I always share how I'm really big on self-reflection. So I had some time to really do that. I found this wonderful app that I will share. If time comes tonight, I'll share.
Okay.
But it's this wonderful app that I found that it's called 5 Voices. If you download it, look it out, but it really talks to you and speaks to you like on your leadership skills and things like that. So I'm always looking for like areas to grow. So that was like one of the things that I did this week, and I found this app, and it really, really helped me to think about like my style of leadership. So I was just really into that. And then I was so thrilled and excited because normally I am not a person who likes surprises.
Okay.
However, I love to surprise others. It's such a I don't like it, but I like to do it for others. So my sister, Chantel, shout out to Chantel who's watching from San Diego. She came in on Tuesday night around 11:30, 11:45-ish, between that time, and I picked her up. And my nephew and niece had no clue that their mom was going to be here for Thanksgiving. And so when I picked her up, we were like going back and forth, and we were talking like, should we record them? Should we not record? And you know, but no, you know, teenagers, like they don't really care. Like it's just certain things. They're like, yeah. So we were like playing out these different scenarios in our head. We were cracking up like, oh, they're just going to be like, we walk in, my nephew's going to be like, hi, mom. And I was just like, I don't know. So we decided not to record it, which was a big mistake. We should have recorded it. So I go to my nephew's room and I walk in. I'm talking to him, and that day, mind you, I've been bugging them. Like my niece had an appointment that day. We had an appointment that was it was a long day, and we like getting ready for Thanksgiving and all those things. And so I was talking to I've been telling them make sure your room is clean, make sure your room doesn't smell like a boy. Like clean it up. So making sure that your stuff is clean. So I go into the room and I'm talking to him, and I'm like, you did a good job on your room, nephew. Everything looks great, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, okay. So I stepped out of the way, and my nephew was like, my sister was like, hey, son. And his face, it was unbelievable. Like to see his response. And it was just so phenomenal. Like it was almost like you told him he hit the lottery or something. It was like,
this is mine.
like, it was so amazing. So it was great, like, to surprise them. And then, of course, like, my sister's my best friend. So, like, we just had a good time. It's even to the point to, like, we can look at each other and just bust out laughing. And I'm like, what are we even laughing at? Like, it was just,
no, it was just the look. It was the
so
look.
it was good to have her here for Thanksgiving, and we just had a great time. And of course, if you know me, you know I love Mario. So we were playing Mario Kart. I mean, like, Mario
I don't think
World.
I did that.
Yeah. So I know that everybody's into, like, the PlayStations and Xboxes and all of that stuff, but I still have a Wii, and it works perfectly fine.
Yes, for the Wii.
Right.
Yes, for the Wii. Michael Jackson experience. Yes, for the Wii.
So we play the Wii, and I love my Wii. I love it. I love it. So we had an opportunity, like, to play, like, Mario Coins. Like, if you never played, like, the Mario Coins on the Wii, you got to try it.
I'm coming over.
You have to try it. It's so competitive. And it's like, and the truth of the matter is, Mario and Luigi are supposed to be a team, but for some reason, me and my sister turned into competitive to each other, and, like, we're trying to throw each other out. It's a big mess, but we have fun. So she was here for that.
I'm sure.
And I was really just able to rest and relax. Honestly, just really relax and, just spend time with family and just have a great time. Like, and she left on Saturday, and I was, like, really sad. I think our household was sad.
I missed her.
I know.
Sorry.
I know, but she'll be back soon, and I'm just really excited that we had that time to spend with each other, because it's like those times and moments are so important to me, that we are able to spend time with family. And I think one of the things that's been really great for me is having the opportunity to really just to have my niece and nephew with me, and to talk about, like, our family dynamics, and just, like, our relationships and their interactions and the things that have been able to happen, within our family. So tonight we're talking about, the power of parenting. And one of the things is, it's just like, like, a lot of people think, like, oh, I gave birth, I'm the parent, which is true. But then there's also a world where there's adoption, and there's, like, there's grandparents that are raising kids now, and then there's nieces and nephews that are being raised and supported by their uncles and aunts, and there's different family dynamics. And I'm so grateful for the dynamic that my sister and I have, because it's one of those things to where, she's out serving our country, and her kids were able to come and be with me, and it didn't really disrupt what I have going on in my life. It just it added to,
enhanced it,
our household. And so there's so many different family dynamics, and it's just so amazing to be able to have, different people that can come and be a part of your life, and to, really support that. And so what I said in the beginning is, like, that family dynamic, and then that village that you have to be able to help you on all aspects, and, of making sure that you had your kids. I look at, like, even your kids, who are near and dear and so super special to me. It's like being able to even impart into them. So it's just like, it's that village that you can trust, and like, have those different aspects of saying, like, hey, I have this family dynamic, and I have this support that is going to be there to support us. So I'm really, really happy about that. So, so talk to me a little bit about, like, the importance of family to you, and then you becoming a parent.
The importance of family to me is high. It's really high. Growing up, for me, I did not have that, or I'll say I just had a one-parent household. I was somewhat adopted by my aunt, my biological aunt, who's on my dad's side. And she took me, and she raised me, and she put me through private Christian academy. I went to Evelyn Gray's, EGCA, alumni, because it was from daycare all the way up to 12th grade. I did leave for 2 years, and I went to public school. I had a little taste of public school, but she instilled in me all that I am today, if not for the trials and tribulations that I've overcome and learned from. But she was strict. She taught me respect. She taught me manners. She taught me love in her own way. And I'm grateful, because, again, like, my parents, they were not capable of taking care of me. They were not capable of doing the job. And she stepped up to the plate. So this is a woman who did not have children, now gaining a niece that turned into a daughter, sacrificing for me, putting me through school, raising me, educating me. She did not play when it came to grammar. I mean, if I said ain't, whatever, I'm this lady, I would be in a little corner, a little table with a composition book and a pencil writing, I will not say ain't. Like my mom did not play. She was straighten up your back, shoulders. And I'm like, okay. Like, but she instilled these things in me and I will never forget them. I remember them to this day. And now me becoming a parent of 4, might I add.
I love it.
Never thought that I would see this day. I mean, growing up as kids, it's like, oh, I want to have a boy and a girl, and I want to live in a nice house with a white picket fence, and I want to have a Mercedes. No, I was not her. It was not me. I was running around the neighborhood, riding bikes, scooters, chasing people, tag you're it. I was not thinking about that. So to see my life unfold like this and, being in a relationship for the last 14 years, and all of my kids is his kids is my kids, it's our kids, it's just we, it's us. I'm grateful. I've seen a lot of what my mom would say, what parents say. Oh, you don't understand it now as a child, but you'll understand when you get older, or these friends are not going to be with you forever. You're going to have more friends, million friends, that, all of those things. Like, I understand so much now. Just looking back at that, like, I'm grateful for those lessons, regardless of me being hard-headed or wanting to find out on my own. I enjoy being a parent. I enjoy the unconditional love that I receive from my children, even if I get a little too hot-tempered. Having patience wasn't a thing for me growing up. I'm people that know me know that I'm hyper, I'm active, I'm outgoing, I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere, so it took a lot of growth. And Hakeem, his style of parenting, and us just knowing that we want this family and we're going to do whatever it takes to make it work. And I'm proud of my children. They have good grades, they're respectful, they're well dressed, they don't stink, about hygiene.
That's important.
But I have boys now. Like, I'm kind of, I guess, more so speaking about my girls, now coming into the boy phase. But my oldest boy is 4 and my youngest son is 8 months. He'll be 9 months this December. So I'm grateful. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I wouldn't trade them for a world. Being a parent is an amazing feeling. It's an amazing experience. This is them honestly still teaching me, because kids, they got the patience. Like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. They see the parent as life, as the guide, as my lifeline. And I never want that to leave. Like, I never want to lose that. You know what I mean? That connection, or just the being able for them to feel comfortable to come to me and talk about things, because my children will grow up and they will go through things. I never want to lose that. So, yeah.
No, I think what's so amazing, and thank you so much for sharing that. I think what's been so amazing is that when you said that, like, I'm like, I've seen you from the very first child to now. Yes. So because we've known each other for a very long time, like 15, 16 years now. Yes. So it's like, it's been amazing to watch you on the journey. Like, I remember you were 18 and now you're like a mom with kids. And, so it's like, it's been so amazing to watch you. So thank you for sharing that. And I appreciate your vulnerability and your transparency. But I want to bring in our first guest who's with us tonight, Ms. Lisa Moore, who is going to share with us the dynamics of, like, family dynamics. She's a child and family therapist, and I'm really, really excited to have her to, like, really come in tonight and shed some light on what we're talking about. Ms. Lisa, thank you so much for coming to us tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anna, I thank you guys for sharing all of your, like, family insight and all of the things you guys discussed just now. One of the things that stood out to me that you guys touched on, the both of you, is communication and the importance of making sure that we're helping our children to understand language, right? And what happens when children are young, and you said your baby is 8 months old, and then, your oldest child, right? I also am a mother, right? I have a 16-year-old. And so one of the things that for me Yeah, I have a 16-year-old, right? She's in the 11th grade.
My oldest is 12. I'm not there yet.
Okay, all right, yeah. So but the point is, right? You got a range going on, right?
Yes.
You got 8 months and you got 12, right?
Yes.
So developmentally, when children come into this world, right, we're their first teachers before we send them off into the world to learn and sit down in the academic and learning environment. We develop our own way of relating to our children as parents. And I think that one of the things that stands out for me the most is language, because before our children can speak, they can hear more than what they can say. As a parent, I think that's one of the primary things that as a parent we have to learn, as well as children get older and they develop the ability to use their expressive language, as we say. And so when our children are able to only maybe hear more than what they can tell us, that is the window of opportunity that we really want to take advantage of as parents, making sure that we're able to help them to understand how and which, right, they can relate to the world, us primarily as parents. Right. So that's one of the first things that comes to mind when we talk about parenting and how parents and children relate to one another. By that I mean also too, so that when children aren't saying things, non-verbally, they are saying a lot of things.
Saying something, not saying something, is still saying something.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's, number one, also too, and then there's different parenting styles, right? Where some of us don't need to say anything to our children, right? We can just give them a look. We can give them whatever we want to give them, right? We can give them a couple things, but we can definitely make sure that we understand they hear more than what they say most often. And as a child and family therapist, those are the kinds of things that to me are really important to nail down on. How is it that you're conveying messages?
So I want to jump in and say, Lisa, I want to ask you again, thank you so much for being with us tonight. I want to ask you, because something that you said, that we said, and then I think that it ties into, I don't care what kind of relationship you're in, is the key point of communication. So how do you, in your thoughts, in your practice, how do you feel like we should be able, as parents or as guardians, how do we form or begin to establish those lines of communication with kids?
That's a really good question, Dwayne. I think that it starts with listening. I think that any form of communication, you have to be a better listener than you are a talker. And that nothing is different with our children. So we have to be willing to listen, whether it is what they're showing us, listen to what they're saying to us, listen to what it is that they're not saying, right? Just being a good listening is the hugest part of communication, I think. So to answer your question, I think they're always being open to listen to what your children are saying to you, whether they're saying it out their mouth or through their actions. And then ask a clarifying question. Be curious about your child's behavior.
I love that. I think it's important to, like, even thinking about like my niece and nephew, like I think that what's always important to me is that I'm going far beyond of just asking, how was your day? Like I am digging deep into the day. Like you had a test today. What was the test about? Like really, what did you have for lunch? How was it? Or why didn't you like it? Or what could be better? Like, I think like that is an important aspect of being able to say like, hey, dig a little deeper into the communication of what's just happening. I think a lot of times just in relationships in general, or even in I think that there a lot of times there's like a lot of surface questions and a lot of surface conversation, but being able to dig a little deeper to let your child know, like, I'm in tune with what's happening with you. Yeah. I think that's super important. So I want to ask you this: how do you recommend, like, what do you recommend as parents, as guardians? What should we be doing to establish those healthy relationships with our children, to open up those lines of communication? I know you said listening, but like, how do you recommend that we listen?
Safety, right? Emotional safety is of most importance. So, and I think I understand your question, is that we want our children to understand that it is a safe place. to talk and be who they are. Sometimes our children aren't like we are, right? They're different than us. Mm-hmm. And they're an extension of us, right? We do the best job that we certainly can to be of influence to our children. I think that one of the things that helps is that we give them the space and the safe space to be who they are.
Yes.
And honor that, even though it may be different than what we have said they should be. So, appreciating the differences.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I would encourage a parent to, really get to know their child as an individual. Yeah. And be, and get to know them the same way that you would get to know anyone else. Wow.
I feel like this is hitting home for you, Ana. I see like
I know it's like I'm trying to figure out, how to ask it, I guess, because it was more so like a conversation that I was just having, with like a friend. And it's like, as a parent, just trying to piggyback off of what you said, how can we work on accepting or understanding the differences in our children and what they want versus what we want for them? Like I feel like it's a challenge in certain aspects. Like for me, just, understanding why my child is thinking this way or why she's behaving this way. Like, but as we said, we have to let them be their own person and, they have to grow through and go through things, just being there as support. But how would you encourage us or just suggest for us to like work through those challenges of understanding the differences with our children?
Well, you know what, the children teach us. Mm-hmm. They teach us. They really do. As we watch them grow and develop, there's a lot of, as parents, we have to also acknowledge that there's a lot of anxiety that comes with trying to get it right. Quote unquote, get it right.
Right. Right. What is
so
right?
Just being really straight laced with your children. Showing them who you are, first of all. Mm-hmm. Letting them understand this is who I am. And then they'll model for them. Then they'll show you who they are. And then, just like any other relationship, right? Then that's where the open dialogue happens.
Yes.
Whether they're a month old, whether they're 10 years old, whether they're 24, whether they're 40 years old. Mm-hmm. But just making sure that your children, we as parents, right, have to show our children who we are. Mm-hmm. And be comfortable with letting them see our flaws, mm-hmm. our strengths, our shortcomings, our mistakes, how to apologize, right? How to manage conflict. Yep. Wow. All of those things.
It starts there. You're so right.
I love that. I think because sometimes and most people may not agree with me when I say this, but I think that sometimes that it's okay to be a little transparent with your children. Like, I think it's important to share with them and let them see certain things. I'm not saying that you have to show them everything, because I think a lot of times what tends to happen is that when we do, I remember like growing up and like, I remember like different aspects of life or watching my friends grow up. It was like one of those things to where you couldn't really express like, and what was going on in your house is what stayed in your house. You know, like if you had troubles or if you had incidents or situations, like I felt like you kind of helped us grow up to be liars a little bit, right? Like you kind of helped us to hide and to be secretive about things. And I think that right now we're living in a crucial time to where our kids will be very prone to sneak around and do things if we don't open up and have those different kind of conversations. And I think like that is so important, because it's like now we're living in a world to where it's just, there's so much that's going on that our kids are experiencing things that we would have never thought that we would experience, or things that we did experience, but because we were so forced to not talk about those things, that we don't seem relatable to our children to say like, hey, well, I went through something like that. This is a safe space to be able to share. So what I want to ask you, Lisa, what are your thoughts about how transparent should we be with our kids, letting them know the experiences and things that we've been through, or some things that we may have faced?
Okay, so I think there's a balance to it, right? We want them to have a context to where they're going. So if we know that we learn from our own mistakes, we want our children to not have to make the same mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that there is a certain amount of discretion. I do think that when we talk about the parental styles, that we want to make sure that we are in a position of, authority. And so that we're not handling our children as if they're our peers.
Mm.
Because that also too gives them a level of responsibility that we need to as parents take on. But when it comes to, hey, this is how it was for me, I'll share this experience with you because maybe that might help you to make a good decision.
Mm-hmm.
I think, for the benefit in their best interest, I think, if it's for their good to make a better decision than you made as a parent, I think it's worth sharing.
Yeah, I see a comment that came in that says from Anitra. Shout out to Anitra. Hope all is well. She said, yes, when we talked about like the secret, she said, yes, because when we keep secrets, unhealthy cycles continue. And that is such a true statement. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I do believe that, there is no such thing as, between a parent, right? Whether it be mother and child or father and child or whatever that looks like. I don't know that, obviously there's no secret because children, one thing I'll say is this, they know, even when we think they don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's the truth.
Very true. That's very true.
I think these children are children, right? Are not watching and paying very close attention to the things that we do because our tendencies show up, whether we say it or not, in our relationship with our children.
Yeah.
So it's better that we give them a good understanding than to carry around like there's this elephant in the room, which we may call it a secret. But they certainly can tell when something's off with their parent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you may as well just be honest with your children and just talk to them about the things that upset you, the things that disappoint you, the things that make you have bad habits, the things that make them not. Let's get to this part. When we get to the age where children then don't care what we have to say.
Mm-hmm.
When the parent-child relationship becomes problematic.
Mm-hmm.
And then the school is calling. And the child is now having difficulties becoming their own person. And then what? When you can't no longer control your child and tell them to go left or right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then they're looking to you for how do I fix this problem that I'm having?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, there can't be secrets. Thank you, Anitra, for making that point.
Yeah, and I think too, it goes right back to communication, developing those communication styles and how you want to maintain the relationship. I think that from the start, you have an opportunity as a parent or a guardian to be able to establish what those relationships will look like. So as we wrap up, I know that I said this time is going to go so fast. As we wrap up, I want can you impart some wisdom or some thoughts into our watchers and people that will come back and watch this show? Just some tips on how to establish healthy communication as a parent, as a guardian with your kids.
Just in other words, when children say things to us that we find hard to hear, whether it be, Dad, you hurt my feelings when you said that, or Dad, that's not fair. I think that helping them to model, we have more time on our hands to be our children's consultants than we have to be their parents. So up until they're about the age of 10 or 11 or 12, we can have more influence on them. Once the decision-making process happens on their own by the time they're 12 or 13 years old. So just making sure that we're modeling for them how to make good decisions. Wow. As opposed to dictating, right? We're in a political climate right now where we need to learn how to make decisions for ourselves. Mm-hmm. And helping our children to understand that as well, to become thinkers and encourage them to appreciate their ability to think for themselves.
Yeah, I love that, because one of the things that I've been teaching my niece and nephew, and my sister saw we were talking about this, I'm teaching them how to advocate for themselves. I'm teaching them like, yes, I can pick up the phone and make the phone call. I can do all the questioning. I can do all those things. But what have you done on your part to advocate for yourself? Because then for me, that's when it becomes more real. But then it's like when you invest in, for example, my niece was like, had a problem with her grade or whatever. And of course, I could pick up the phone and make the phone call. But what have you done on your part to advocate for yourself? Because it becomes more real when you invest in yourself versus me being the only investor into you. So I think like what you just said is very important to teach them how to be thinkers and to how to advocate for themselves, because I feel that anything that you put time into, you become more vested into as well. And you're willing to put the work and the effort into making some changes in your life. So thank you for that.
Yeah. And also too, the understanding the importance of what is important to them. Understanding like, what's important to me at my age, and I'm not going to tell you guys how old I am. But what's important to me at my age wasn't important to me 10 years ago. Wasn't important to me 15, 20, 30, 40 years ago, right? So we have to understand what is important to our children as parents, even if it's not important to us. Yeah. And that goes a long way, and them being relatable and us being able to help them when they have problems, because life is full of challenges. And the one thing we want our children to do is be successful at handling problems as they come. And being able to come to us, right, for the guidance that they need, and at the same time make their own decisions.
Wow. Lisa, thank you so much. I want to thank. You want to finish your thought? I don't want to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Oh, listen, okay. But I do.
I could go on and on, but I just wanted to make sure, and I didn't want to get all like textbook savvy with you guys, but I just wanted to, maybe just share some practical things that will help another parent.
No, this is perfect.
No, this was great. I want to say thank you so much. And I think that what it really has done is really opened the eyes of our listeners and those who are following about parenting. Listen, like you said in our pre-talk, that there's no real guidebook or anything like that to really say like this is the right way to do it. We're all learning. So we want to create like platforms like this to be able to have individuals come and take some tips or something that will give them some hope and lead and guide them on the way. Again, Lisa, thank you so much, child and family therapist. If you would like to get in contact with Lisa, please visit our website, DwayneVonDrake.com. We'll be sure to have our information up there. Lisa, again, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and I hope to see you again soon.
My pleasure as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Ana, fantastic.
Like, what? For myself. Listen, I was taking it all in. Seriously.
Listen. I know I saw that it was like touching you. I was like,
yes. I'm like, listen. My girls are different. They see different. Their style is different. It's been a challenge. So it was a lot of input, and a lot of things that will help guide. And as long as I just want to keep that communication there. I really feel like that is the most important thing. Like, I am an open door. I am your open door. Come to me.
Yeah. Because the truth of the matter is, what I absolutely know for sure is that if they can't come to you, they'll go to somebody else.
Right.
And then what tends to happen is that when they go to somebody else, either they are going to give them the right advice, the wrong advice, or advice that's indifferent. And they're going to try to explore until they know. But when they can have, I love what Lisa said about being their consultant. Like, I think like that is super important. It's almost like when you go for like a consultation for anything else, like it can be like for your house or whatever the case may be, being able to be the consultant for your child so that those things that they need to talk out and figure out, they are able to do that with you and not necessarily have to go out into the streets to figure it out, because we're their first teachers and they learn from us. I'm not a biological parent right now, but do I desire to be a parent? Absolutely. I can't wait. So it's like, and so it's important to me. And I'm gonna say the comment. Never mind.
I love that. No,
and I'm working on it. But I'm doing all the things to make it happen, but it ain't happened yet. However, I said,
listen, okay.
So it's one of those things to be able to be like their consultant so that they can come to you and to be able to share their thoughts and feelings with you. But I want to bring on our next guest because this is such a great topic, and I know that in the future we're going to come back with this and share again with this, because what my goal is, honestly, like I said, that I want people to leave with hope, but I also want people to feel like they have someone in their corner that's backing them. And I think that our next guest, Miss Margarita Davis Boyer, is a wonderful person to be able to share and to talk and to let individuals know she has a very serious background of, being able to help families and give them support. So she is the managing director of prevention and family support with Belmont Charter Network. And she is going to share, not only that, I have to say, she is my sister and my friend, my dear friend. And one day I hope I get to share the story. I don't know if we have enough time tonight, but I want to one day get to share the story of how we connected and how from the moment that I met her to now, she has been 100% consistent. She is someone that is near and dear to my heart. And it's like one of those things to when I moved to Philadelphia with no biological family to where now it's like God has like built me a family to say, like, I got people here for you, that you got your cousins and your sisters and your nieces and your nephews and like all of those things. And Rita is definitely one of my family members. So Miss Rita, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Most definitely. This is a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So I want you to just jump on this conversation. I know you were able to hear what Lisa had to share, and she shared some amazing things with us tonight. But from your experiences, we're going to be talking about like parenting challenges and solutions. And I know that with what you do, you work with families. You've been working with families for many, many years. If you would like to share some of your background and just talk about like some problems and solutions that you see, like how we can keep the family dynamic to continue to be a strong platform and foundation for our kids.
Most definitely. So yes, I am the managing director for prevention and family support with Belmont Charter Network. I am also a motivational speaker and an advocate for child welfare across the city of Philadelphia and the tri-state area, working very closely with the Department of Human Services and overseeing their policies and procedures. I can go on and on, but tonight it's about the families, right? I'm so excited to be here. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So there's a couple of things that Lisa touched on, and I was like, yes, Lisa, tell them, right? So some of the common challenges that I think about, we really have to think about our upbringing, right? And sometimes we have to, as parents, tune into self and identify, why am I this way? Where's this coming from? Why do I parent this way? So she touched on the parent styles, right? So you have authoritarian, where that's just that parent, as you was talking about, Ana, like strict. You gonna do it my way. This is the way it is. Well, why do I have to do it? Because I said so, right? Like there's no explanations around it. And there's no, I would say, right or wrong way, right? I don't want to say like one is better than the other, because they all have their pros and all have their cons. But what I do find sometimes with children that were brought up that way is that it takes them a longer time to know how to advocate for themselves and or like make their own decisions, because they're so used to tending to that parental figure, right? When you think about the authoritative one, that's like the one that likes to do reasoning. I'm a bit of all of them, depending on that. Okay, here's what it is. Some things, but as far as the authoritative, that's the one where there's more conversation. Like, I may give you a consequence for your action, but we're going to talk about it because I want you to understand why this is important. I want you to understand why what you did wasn't right, right? And then you have that permissive one. You might hear nowadays where they say like, oh, you have these parents that's trying to be their kid's friend. Like, that's like the permissive. Like, they're a little bit more lenient with the rules and different things like that, right? Trying to be down with the times and feel as though that's the best way to really have a relationship and connect with their child. And then you have the one that's like uninvolved, right? And uninvolved can mean so many different things. It can mean that I'm making sure that you have all the necessities. You have a roof over your head, you have food, you have clothes on your back, you have shoes on your feet, you have money in your pocket, but I'm not really involved. I'm not a kid. I don't know what's going on with you. I don't know what's going on at your school. You're kind of like dealing on your own, right? So I just wanted to put that piece out there because some of your viewers may have grew up in those type of households, or some of your viewers might be able to relate to some of the different styles that I just said. Like, you know what, that might be me, or I think I'm like 2 or 3 of them. Shoot, sometimes I'm all of them, right? And again, this is not saying that any of them is wrong. It's just helping you to understand like the different styles and sometimes like how that can have an impact on the child. So what I will also say, some of the common challenges, I know that's what you want me to get to, with young people, it depends on their developmental level, their developmental stages. So of course, if you're a parent on here and you're a new parent, your child is like age 1 to 5. Right now, you're thinking about like just setting boundaries. Right? You have to teach your child, like that's some of the challenges, because they're at the age right now where they're testing everything. They are testing the limits, honey. You said don't touch, they said yeah, all right. You said don't jump, they said watch this, right? So that's because they say they're testing those boundaries for you, right? And you're also trying to understand their emotions. So they might be having temper tantrums and different things, and you're like, now you know darn well you don't be doing. Why you got to do this when we in the supermarket? Come on, you don't know if to grab the kid, you don't know what to do, right? And also sometimes you're not sure what it is that they're trying to communicate, right? So that's a challenge. And then when you go a little older, so you think about like that middle age, that like age 6 to 12, honey, that's when that communication come in that Lisa was talking about, right? That's when it starts. Where it's like, I want to talk to you. I want to get to know you and understand who you are. And I want you to understand the type of parent that I am. But sometimes it's hard to get them to open up and talk to you about those things, right? There might be stuff that they might be going through in school. And then you see the impact when they come home. But you don't understand where it's coming from. I know I have a child right now in that age, right? And whenever I ask him something, I don't know. It's cool. Okay. No, I'm fine. Like that's all I get. Right. And I'm like, I can tell there's something going on with you. Like, give me more. You acting different. No, I'm not. I'm fine. Like, okay. Right. So then you have that adolescence, right? And that's that like age 13 to 18. That's when they want to be on their own. They want that autonomy. They want that independence. I know what I'm doing. Oh, you might have thought you was doing it back in your day, but you old. You don't know nothing about today, right? The language is changing, and it do look different because they got technology, they got social media, they got all these different things, right? And they're looking at it as trying to grasp that independence, which is challenging for us because we're looking at it as rebellion, right? So those are some of the challenges that we see tending. Now, when I say across the school, you also see challenges with mental health. And I think that's something that's super important. I'm so glad that y'all are going to be doing that conference. I hope that your listeners are going to be buying them tickets, y'all. It's not the place to be. Buy the tickets. Okay. But a lot of times what we don't talk about with our young people, because a lot of times we are quick to, it's almost like that ADHD thing. Soon as people heard that terminology ADHD, oh, that kid got ADHD. Oh, that kid got ADHD. Right. No, sit the kid down and have a conversation. That kid could be experiencing some type of trauma, right? Yeah. And because of that trauma, that kid could be experiencing some type of mental health. Right. And also with the parent. And there's a such thing as vicarious trauma. So I see a lot of that now, right? When you think about challenges with our young people, I see a lot of that in our young people. They are having anxiety attacks, panic attacks, right? A lot of them are really dealing with self-esteem, which takes them into like suicide ideation, right? Many of them are trying to self-medicate. And sometimes we may look at the young person and just say, oh, they out there just, living the world or doing their thing or not listening. They're listening. It's just that right now they are trying to figure out survival, right? And there's a lot going on. You guys talked about secrets. Many of the times the things we try to hide from our children because we just want them to be okay, they see it. They know. They're just not saying anything about it. I have a 21-year-old now. And the thing she tell me now that she knew when she was younger, I had no idea. But now that she's old enough to speak, she's like, Mom, why do you always do this? Or why did you always used to do that? Or why you care so much? Why you always running out and helping people? They ain't going to help you. I'm like, what are you talking to? Trying to get back. But she right. I don't want to tell her, but she right? So now that she's older, right, and she's coming to that independence, and she's done her date on me, just like I was trying to do my date on her. She's at a point now where she can have that conversation with me. So when Lisa was touching on communication, yes, communication is the key. Being able to listen to your child, like actively listen, but also teach them how to actively listen to you. And one of the things that I think is so important for families, and this might seem cliche, somebody might say, oh, she corny or she trying to be like the Huxtables. No, I'm not. Okay. It's family meetings.
Ooh, right? Yes.
I call those.
We have family meetings. We have family meetings in the house, and if I say family meetings, everybody, or even it's so funny, even when I say like kids, it's time family meeting, the dog comes running and everybody lines right up. Everybody lines up because they know I have something to say in this house.
Oh, yes. Yes. But you know what? That also means you're allowing them a platform to say what they wanted to say in that house too. Mm-hmm. Right. So what you're doing in those family meetings, you're modeling to your children how to sit down and have a conversation. What we see a lot now with all ages is like dysregulation, right? In regards to that emotional regulation, not knowing how to like explain myself or feeling like I have to fight every time I'm upset or yell or right, not being able to channel my emotions so that I can effectively communicate with you, regardless of what the population is. So when you're sitting your family down and you're having a conversation, we always start out with like something positive. Like, all right, everybody got to go around and you got to say something positive about that person. Okay. Now, keep in mind, I got some teens, so that takes a little time. Sometimes they be like, well, get it up, right? Eventually, I'm sorry, looks like you lost.
No, we can hear you.
You're good, loud and clear. Yep.
You guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's probably just on her end, but it's all right.
Yeah. You hear me?
Good stuff. Yes, girl. You got some good stuff.
We technology is the issue, but right now we can't hear you perfectly fine. All right, so I think that we are.
All right, we back. Can you hear me?
We back. Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Now?
Yes.
All right, I didn't know what was happening. See, my computer acting like an adolescent. Give it. So what I wanted to say is after that, what we do is we go around and we say, is there anything that anyone has been wanting to talk about? Is there something that someone can help you with? Is there something that someone has been doing that's been really irritating you or bothering you that we need to talk about, right? Then after we get all of that out, right, I tend to find that they quick to say what's irritating them. They fast. When I said say something positive, it take a little minute. So that's an opportunity for me to teach a lesson. Right. So I'm always looking for opportunities to have these conversations. Like, why is it that it was quick for you to say something negative about your sister, but not positive? Let's talk about that. Let's unravel that a little bit. Right. Because I don't want you guys growing up and being like that in your life. Right. So that's a big piece of it. And I think also positive reinforcement. So although we're communicating and we're establishing boundaries, because that's really important too, it's also important to make sure that we are doing positive reinforcement, because you don't want your kid to always feel like whenever you're talking to me, it's because you're telling me something I didn't do or telling me to go and do something or asking me a question about something. How about telling me that I did something right? Mm-hmm. How about saying thank you for something that I did? Right? How about recognizing me, right, in a positive manner? Because that's what we say as parents all the time, don't we? Y'all don't appreciate me. I gotta buy this and do this, and I paid these bills, and y'all messing up my house, and right? Yep. And it's like whenever they do come to us and they're like, "I love you, thank you," you're like, "Oh my God, I love you too," right? So the children, they want to hear those types of things too. So I think those are like just some of the challenges, and some of the strategies I would say in regards to like really helping families. In regards to supports, because I know there was a lot that you wanted me to talk about that piece too. Emotional support. Like identify those in your circle families, right, that can support you and let them know how they can support you. Be very open about that piece, because I can probably go to somebody to ask questions about my child, but I can't go to that same person to ask questions about finances, right? I will also say like practical help. Like there's so many like online things, and I can send you like a whole list if you like to put up for your listeners. Practical things like childcare, needing help with like food, right? Needing help because your housing unstable right now, needing help with getting like medical care or glasses for your child because they keep breaking them and your insurance only pays for 2 pair or 1 pair a year, right? So you need support those ways. There are so many different resources out here for our families. There's websites such as like Caps for Kids. And I know the last people want to hear is DHS, right? But DHS actually does have a prevention unit that provides these things and can support you, right? So there's a lot of different resources out here that can help our families, and also with mental health. Mental health, it is okay to not be okay. How about that? Are you okay? Another plug for the conference coming up. That's the flex, I'm telling y'all. But you know, like there's numbers such as 211. If you call them and say, hey, I'm having issues with my electricity or my refrigerator just went out, like that is a line in the city of Philadelphia that can provide you with a lot of different resources, right? 988 if 741 if you're in a crisis. You might just be alone. You may be in your car, in your room, wherever, you're crying, you're upset, you're really emotional, and you want to talk to someone. But you guys hit on it earlier. What happens in my house, stay in my house. I don't want nobody in my business. I want nobody accusing nothing against me, throwing stuff up in my face. They ain't going to understand, right? You don't have to worry about all of that. These are confidential conversations with clinicians. The phone numbers are open 24/7, and you can contact them at any time and say, hey, listen, I'm dealing with a situation. Help me. And they are there to listen to you and guide you and give you resources, right? So there's so many different resources. And if you're looking for resources for your children, again, that Department of Human Services, I know y'all don't want to hear it, but it is what it is. But they do a lot in the city. So they provide funding for mentor programs, youth leadership programs. They provide the funding for parks and recreation to have like the after school programs and things like that. And please, at your schools, your school will have either a school counselor, school social worker, some type of support person, liaison person. Like there's a lot of different names, right? STEP programs. There's a lot of different names within the schools. We are there to support you. We are student and family specialists. Reach out to your school. Say, listen, I need to meet with you. I've been looking for this resource. Can you help me? They can provide supports with uniforms, with food, with transportation. They can lead you, right, in the direction to get all the different help that you need. So please, families, let's get out of that I don't want to talk to no one. I just want to put on this face. I just want to smile. I just want everybody to just think I'm okay. Mm-hmm. Let's try to get out of that and really connect with our community. Community means common unity. That's what it is, right? An opportunity for you to get with like-minded people, right? Or people who've been there, done that, wore a t-shirt, okay? And can tell you, listen, this is not the end of it. I got a resource for you. Come here, let me help you out, right? Get on platforms like this, right? I am a human being. I am human being, right? Why? Because they are bringing the resources directly to you and providing a healthy and safe platform for you to say, this is what I'm going through. Oh my gosh, I'm not the only one. Can you connect me with that person? Right? So I will say that. So I think I went over the
you are good.
You are perfect.
You are good.
Perfect.
Right. Right. So I just appreciate it because we need opportunities like this, right? Don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. Like we only know what we know. And when we know better, we do better, right? Yes. I'm learning each and every single day. It's a blessing that I work with students because I'm getting hit with everything throughout the day, and it helps me to be a better parent. I can share stories on how I was just blindsided on stuff. Came home to the dinner table with my children when they was younger, like, what is this, you guys? And they like, oh my God, Mom, how you know about that? What? You know about this?
You know about that, right? Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
About that, right? And it just allowed me to have those conversations, right? And it reminds me every day that I make mistakes. I'm not the expert. And I need for people to understand it. I'm not the expert. I get calls all the time about everything. But Rita, you would know. honey, I'm researching just like you.
Yeah. I love
I'm,
that.
I'm, I'm trying to learn just like you. Let's learn together. I'm learning from you like you learning from me. Let's do this thing together. Let's really make it takes a village. Let's bring that back.
Yes.
And I'm so glad. That's a nice way to round this conversation up. And I
Yes.
think that what's so important is to know that it does take a village. It takes individuals like you, Miss Rita, and then individuals like us to bring this to the platform and have these conversations on the power of parenting. Because like there's no rule book. There's just people that have resources, that have things that they can connect with, and people that they connect with to be able to get the help that they need. And I never want us to be in a place to say that we are afraid to ask for the help, because the help and support is there for us. So, Miss Rita, I want to say thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really do appreciate it. You just dropped a wealth of knowledge. I see people with us on
this
Instagram.
chat is lit.
Like, I'm over here with my pen and paper. Like, we are popping on all platforms tonight. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and people are chiming in and chatting with us again. Miss Rita, thank you so much for joining A Human Being, and I hope that you will come back and join us again.
Please.
I got you.
Thank you so much. And if you want more information on Margarita Davis Boyer, please visit DwayneBundrake.com. We will make sure by the end of tonight or tomorrow, we will have the information that's up there so that you can reach out, and we'll make sure that we get the correct information so that you can reach out and book her for speaking engagements, have her come over wherever you are to talk to you about family support and prevention. So again, thank you, Rita. I appreciate you.
Thank you guys for having me. God bless.
Wow.
Like, what?
Amazing, right?
I feel like a new parent. Like I'm a new parent. Like let's do this. Like
I know, right? I think this is so great. I absolutely love this opportunity for us to be able to have this talk. We are at the end of the show, and I feel like there's just so much more we can talk about.
There's so much more. I can't.
I feel like I feel like there's so much more that we can talk about. But I just want to thank you all so much for watching tonight. The power of parenting, that there's so much power in it. Ana, I'm going to leave it to you to say something, then I'll close, and then we'll be done with our show for tonight.
Yes, well,
I feel like I could go another hour.
Like seriously,
Right?
there's so many different insert points that we can just piggyback. Like it's experiences and just things to look forward to. Like, I can work on that. Or tonight was absolutely amazing. I hope everybody watching enjoyed the show. Please know that you can always go back and watch it again, just in case you came late. I see people saying that they just joined, but thank you always for taking the time to chat with us and hear everything that we have to talk about. The power of parenting. I enjoy being a parent. I hope everybody gets that opportunity, and we're here to have more discussions and talks about different things. So make sure that y'all tune in on our next episode.
Listen, I'm so excited about our next episode is because our next episode is about communication, and we talked about that a lot tonight. So the next episode 4 is entitled "We Need to Talk." Mm-hmm. Oh boy, it's going
like
down.
Tonight.
we need to talk, and so we're going to be talking about some different things on the next episode. We have people that are asking about a part 2 of this. Listen, if Margarita and Lisa they're down, I'm down for it, because people are asking for a part 2. I'm so grateful. But what I want to say is, Ana, thank you so much. And what I want to say to you is that I've watched you over the years become a mother. I remember when you gave birth to your first child to now to your last child, and just watching, the amazing things that you have done as a parent. You are a wonderful parent. You are such a wonderful mother. And Hakeem is such a wonderful father. And that only is a testament to the wonderful, respectful kids that you have. So I just want to, say this to the parents that are watching, that your dedication and love, I don't want it to go unnoticed. Every single effort that you make, no matter how small, it really shapes your child's future in profound ways. Just please remember, it's okay to have tough days. It's okay to have hard days, but what matters is your commitment to being there for them. So you are the greatest support, and your resilience teaches them valuable lessons about strength and perseverance. Mm-hmm. So keep believing in yourself and the incredible impact that you have on your children's lives. You're doing an amazing job. You're doing an amazing job. You're not going to always get it right, but you're doing an amazing job. So shout out to the parents that are out there. Shout out to the guardians. Shout out to everybody out there that's helping, that's a part of a village helping to raise kids. Yes. We thank you. We see you. We appreciate you. And we absolutely thank you so much for being a part of our show tonight. With love, dedication, and support, we say thank you again for watching. And we'll see you next Monday night at 8 o'clock on A Human Being. Have a good night. Bye.